As regards change or not change, I want what God puts before me to choose, to do, but not to do what he doesn't put before me. So, for instance, if I'm to go to England to help my son, then God will raise the opportunity. I'm not asking for it, and I'm not refusing it. In a sense, I feel every opportunity is laid before him. And he may lay it before me, but he will guide. Part of the guidance is to make it feasible, of course. And by feasible, I mean the circumstances are such that it looks reasonable that I do it. If it's a tremendous challenge and I don't have the wherewithal or I'm not sure, then I don't feel led to do or to go. If he makes it reasonably possible when it wasn't, when I've asked whether I should or shouldn't, when I'm inclined to think he's saying that that's what's best to do. And so I check it out to see if there's confirmation. Are all doors open? Or are all doors shut? For instance, is it fundable? It might be fundable just to find out more, to be clearer whether it's more than I'm, for instance, physically able to do, whether the spiritual cost would be too great in that I could get lost in a morass of change that's beyond my adaptability, or what looks reasonably feasible within it. It's important, you see, that what you're doing is in harmony with what he feels is best. So we seek God's will, not some determination to do or not to do something, but to be open to doors that are open and not open to doors that are shut. Because we seek his will. We seek to seek his will. That's what matters. It's like the Lord's Prayer, isn't it? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We have some notion that heaven is the ideal. It's our notion, of course. And he adjusts that notion with our experience. And we apply such notion to here, where it seems feasible and possible. asking my kids to do reckless, enormous, massive changes. They're in my care, not out of it. I don't want them putting themselves in situations where it's desperate if Dad doesn't come to the rescue. I am their rescue already here, at home. I've made home for them. If they need to go, because they need to find out, like the prodigal, then I reluctantly let them go. But of course, in truth, I'm still there to protect and guide them when they call out, which in the modern world is very easy. You just pick up your mobile phone. And with God, it's always been easy, for He's everywhere. You can't run from God. You can only take a freedom that you insist on because, well, He feels that's what you need. But the Father didn't need the prodigal to go off. In a narrow sense, He wanted him to stay, of course. He simply understood if he had to go off, that he had to let him go. I'm not seeking change. My Father is able to make any change in my life. And He'll suggest it to me if it's for the best. He doesn't want me to follow some fancy, but to be in His will, because His will is better than mine, for me. So, with an opportunity, it looks reasonably attractive and reasonably feasible. Not something that I need God to move mountains to get me there. And that I'll be continually asking Him to sort out the complications that I've deliberately moved into. That's not reasonable. If He takes me there, oh, that's quite different. You know, if He opens doors, I would have thought, oh, just not likely. Well, that's different. I've had a life of going into the ministry with my, especially my first two wives. I mean, we went into the ministry probably 6 or 7 times, and really earnestly searched out the probability, and started training in some way, whether it was from home or if it meant moving to Bristol, to Manchester, Liverpool, to Birmingham. The biggest change I, at least superficially, made was I migrated. My second wife and I chose to go to New Zealand. It didn't look very feasible, but each step of the way opened up. Things that you would have thought were barriers were not, quite miraculously so. Whether it was funding or passing medicals or being acceptable or, meeting the points criteria, which looked impossible given my part-time career through life. To confirm what my previous employment was, it looked an absolute mess of jobs. Very hard for me to even remember what they were, leave alone get past employers to confirm it. The personnel didn't even exist. They basically just confirmed what I asked them to confirm. And sometimes they confirmed what I asked them wrongly by mistake. Things just were so right. Opportunities just opened up. This end. Well, we realised we could come for a few months. If it didn't turn out right, we could go home again. There was an escape strategy clause pretty clearly available. When we got here, opportunities opened up in two places at once. People were helpful beyond what you would have anticipated by a long, long way. We were blessed. Funds just poured into us from the work that almost, you'd call it casual work, that became available. Lecturing, of all things. We came here expecting to teach me teaching a school. But we found that we were both lecturing. Marvellous. The country was lovely. Exciting, fun. Never felt God was blessing me so much on so many fronts, so often. You would say he's opening all the doors, making everything possible. No problem. Only pretty clear what one would need be acceptable here in New Zealand, to have some sort of employment to come to have some flow of income. Somewhere to stay. We had a community that even picked us up from the airport when we arrived. Looked after us for the first few weeks. We then went to stay with a lady we didn't know, a helper, by the beach there. She was the stepmother of our lodger in England, who happened to be looking for accommodation and stayed with us for a year. And of course talked about New Zealand, which is where we wanted to go. What an incredible link, and said, you can stay with my stepmum for a while when you first get there. She's in a big house on her own. She'll be fine. And we did. God dear. You'll know if you should do something. God will keep telling you and keep making each step feasible, comfortable, opens doors. And it was the best thing we ever did. Well, one of the best things, I mean. Simply meeting each other and knowing each other was the best thing we ever did. And wanting to know God, of course, that was pretty good going, wasn't it? But we didn't come here for ministry. We came here just for a good life. And we found it. Thank you, Dad. So it's not that I'm saying you can't make massive changes. I mean, to shift from England to New Zealand, culturally it's nothing like as massive as shifting to India or something. But in distance you can't shift further, really. It's the other side of the world. And change is massive in that you're cut off from everything by such distance. Even with modern transport and so on and communications, it's an incredible cut off from the people you know and the things you do. And it was an absolute blessing. By the grace and provision of our Dad, you see. You know when a thing fits. You're not smashing doors down and, haranguing heaven to provide what's not there yet. Things just come into your hand as you need or as you ask. It just opens. That's my experience. Perhaps that's not everyone's experience, but it is mine. And I do commend that way to you. Not that you don't make massive changes, but that they fit very reasonably and comfortably. Not that they're going to demand much upon you where you're going to be crying out to God to come to the rescue. He will, but it won't be the way you expect, and the lessons could be quite difficult. And it's not His will, except to give way because you insist. Like the prodigal, give me my share of the inheritance that I may go. And the father thinks, oh no. He's trying to put himself out of my range. How could this happen? I want the ideal from God's understanding. It's as simple as that. I want that. Passionately. I want to want only that. I want my freedom to be my choice of that which He thinks is truly best. What I should be doing. That's the ideal, isn't it? Thy will be done, Lord. If I stay here or if I don't, it's only fine if it's right with you, best with you, in your understanding. Not mine. I have such an imperfect view compared to yours, Lord. Please have me do what you think is right and best. And if that is really your will, deep in your heart and being, you're ready for heaven. Because I can give you your total freedom in heaven. And you'll always be sensitive to what is truly best. With me and everyone else that's there. You can be as unique and different as you like. Within those bounds. Or if you're not within those bounds, we can't risk you there because you'll wreck the place. I mean, it's reasonable, isn't it? God is incredibly reasonable. You see, he's consistent. He has integrity. Astonishing integrity. And his love and his integrity, his competence, his wisdom and understanding is our great blessing. And it's our love and devotion to him that gives us access to the benefits of such. Thank God. Thank you, Dad.